If right now there were an all-knowing observer running the ultimate calculation as they look down on our universe, then your breath this very second, and even the exact moment you'll blink next, have already been written into a line of code that finished executing long ago. Eons ago, the legendary Fuxi gazed up at the heavens and, with just 2 strokes, a solid line and a broken line, drew the pulse of the cosmos, the Bagua. 3,000 years later, German mathematician Leibniz saw that diagram of 64 hexagrams, had his aha moment about binary, and sparked the bonfire that became modern computing. When ones and zeros swelled into a tsunami of computing power, science's high priest Laplace summoned a demon. Give me the position and momentum of every particle, and the future holds no mysteries. But the ghost of quantum mechanics leaned in and whispered, everything is a wave, and true reality is uncertainty. So, is the future a locked-in finale hidden in equations, or a realm of infinite possibilities lurking in random gaps? When cutting-edge science reaches its frontier, it echoes the ancient wisdom of the Bagua. Tonight, let's dig deep together. Deterministic futures versus freedom in the unknown. At the crossroads of binary code, cosmology, and the I Ching, we may just uncover a grand narrative that's been buried in the dust of time. Legend says Fuxi had just 3 tools in hand: a gnomon to track the sun's shadow, a ring of stone pits, and, most importantly, a heart patient enough to watch the sky. He noticed the shadow shrank twice a year and disappeared once. Yin gives way to yang, yang peaks and returns to yin. That's the essence of, from Wuji comes Taiji. But beyond the shadow, he spotted 24 turning points. The solar terms, the heartbeat of farming and the gears of time. Fuxi took those 24 gears, wove them into the Taiji, then squeezed them down until only the 8 simplest yin-yang combos remained. And just like that, the Bagua was born: Qian, Kun, Zhen, Shun, Kan, Li, Gen, Dui, like 8 beats of the universe's heartbeat. Fast forward to the digital age, being and nothingness get written as 0 and 1, but back then Fuxi wrote them as yin and yang. 2 solid lines equals 1, a broken line equals 0. Layer 2 rows of those, and you've got 64 hexagrams, a cosmic lookup table that beat Leibniz by 2 millennia. In 1703, a Chinese missionary named Joachim Bouvet mailed that 64 hexagram diagram to German mathematician Leibniz. In an instant, Fuxi's ancient yin-yang flipped into Leibniz's lightning-fast ones and zeros. The steam engine was still thundering, but the pulses of the electronic era were already charging in the shadows. From a sky-watching gnomon to a silicon transistor, ancient and modern alike asked the same question. If zeros and ones can capture everything in heaven and earth, is there still anything unknown left in the future? 300 years ago, humanity boldly proclaimed, "Just give us the starting conditions, and we can calculate tomorrow's sunrise, the tides, even the emperor's heartbeat." That was the golden age blessed by Newton's 3 laws. In 1814, mathematician Pierre-Simon Laplace penned a chilling manifesto in Paris. If there were an intellect capable of knowing every particle's position and momentum in the universe, then past and future would lie open to its gaze. This being, later dubbed Laplace's demon, wrapped space-time in the iron chains of determinism, nailing every moment down to calculation. But a century later, cracks appeared in science's foundation. Quantum mechanics burst onto the scene, declaring, an electron can be here and there. Before measurement, everything's just a probability. Planck, Bohr, Heisenberg, they tore away the demon's cloak with experiments, revealing endless superposed shadows. The demon's omniscience was dismantled by the uncertainty principle. The spark of free will reignited in microscopic randomness. Yet Einstein refused to back down. Gazing at the stars, he muttered, God does not play dice. To him, time was nothing more than slices of a four-dimensional loaf, past, present, and future, already baked into the universe's equations. So, are quantum uncertainties and macroscopic predeterminations just two sides of the same coin? As we peer into the electron's haze and look out at swirling galaxies, aren't we also reading the 64 interwoven footnotes of the Bagua? Is the future scripted by a demon, or merely the tremble of dice before they hit the table? In the 1980s, a 21-year-old physics whiz named Stephen Wolfram stared at this black and white pixel grid and said, "I see the universe." It was a cellular automaton called Rule 30, a simple 0 or 1 rule that churned out a neat triangular pattern on the left and wild, random fractures on the right. 8 possible neighborhoods, 256 total rules. Wolfram tested them all, but when he hit Rule 30, he just stopped cold. This is our universe. It's orderly, yet unpredictable. It looks random, yet you can spot self-generated structure. He spun this pixel storm into a 1,200-page tome, a new kind of science, declaring, "The universe isn't a bunch of equations. It's a program that's running." If you map Rule 30's black and white to yin and yang, those 256 rules become a reissue of 64 hexagrams x4. Fuxi watched the sky with his eyes. Wolfram watched a screen with his code, both pointing to the same thing. Simple symbols plus infinite iteration equals a holographic cosmos. But he also uncovered a kind of magic word limitation. To know whether the center pixel on row n is black or white, you have to run the program all the way to step n. That's computational irreducibility. The future's written in the code, but you can't shortcut your way there. Just like flipping coins for the I Ching, you must count from the first line all the way up to the 6th with no jumps or hacks. Wolfram dubbed this the Rule 30 universe. Maybe our reality is just one long take in the Rule 30 movie. And in the 256 universes he simulated, there's the mirror world of Rule 135, the dead silence of Rule 0, the mechanical stillness of Rule 255. Like the I Ching's 64 hexagrams with their flips and inversions, Qian versus Kun, heaven versus earth, randomness versus order, life versus stagnation. So some have speculated, the myth of twin moons might be a metaphor for parallel universe compute nodes. Those 64 hexagrams are really data exchanges between two lunar machines. If that's true, Fuxi wasn't drawing hexagrams. He was sketching an API. Every divination, a cross-universe call. Science tells us, on the big scale, everything seems locked in place. On the tiny scale, everything's up in the air. Fuxi's Bagua and Wolfram's Rule 30, one drawn from the sky, the other coded on a screen, both remind us that certainty and uncertainty aren't enemies. They're just two sides of the same riverbank. When you flip those coins or click run, you become the observer. In that instant, the universe's wave collapses for you, and fate's code rewrites itself one more time. Maybe the future's already burned into the cosmic ROM. Maybe each choice quietly spawns a new branch world. The real secret is that you get to jot your own notes between the finished script and the program compiling in real time. That's why the Bagua isn't just for divination. It's a mirror, reflecting the cold logic of algorithms and the warm spark of the human spirit. Maybe the future really is set in stone, but who's doing the observing? The answer's still loading. So next time you look up at the moon or tap zeros and ones on your keyboard, remember, the chains of determinism and the keys of free will might both hang on the same door. Whether you dare to open it comes down to whether you're brave enough to write yourself into that line of unfinished code.